Welcome to the University of Findlay Art and Culture Show. I am your host, Sharinda, and today we are welcoming on set Mayor Christina Muryn. Welcome to the set.
Thank you for having me.
It's time to do the census again.
Yes.
True or false? It's illegal not to do the census.
True.
Yeah.
It is legally required.
A lot of people don't realize that. It's like you've got to pay your taxes, you have to do the census.
Yeah.
But why? Why is it a law to do the census? What is the importance of that?
So there are really three key things. One, it determines our representation. So both in Congress and at the local level, we need to know how many people we have living here and where in our community they're living. The second is that it determines where money is going to be spent. So we receive a lot of state and federal dollars through grants and infrastructure opportunities, CDBG. So those are important dollars. It determines how $675 billion annually is distributed to communities across the country. And so if we are undercounted, we are going to get less money. Additionally, talking about it right now, it's really important because it also helps inform decisions related to healthcare and hospitals and hospital funding and school funding. All of that information is gathered by the Census Bureau, is aggregated and provided, to communities. It's not information that is specific to you that I'm going to be able to identify. It is kind of general information.
Umbrella.
We need to have a picture of our community. What does that look like, and how does that inform our decision making moving forward? So businesses looking to come here are going to pull that data. Schools, students are going to use it for studies, research.
Yeah, a lot of people think that our dollars for our schools only comes from us privately through our taxes locally, and I guess part of that confusion is because the census doesn't happen every year.
Right.
It happens over a course of so many years.
Yeah.
But then that data is also collected, and they go back and review and do comparisons, which goes to what you were sharing with our representation and dollars. So it's important because we're seeing that on the ballot we have different levies asking for increased tax dollars, but this is dollars that aren't in our county that would be coming to our county.
Correct. Yep. So it's only done every 10 years. So that a community changes a lot in 10 years. Thinking of where we were in 2010 is crazy.
It is.
I can't believe it's 2020. But
I know.
So it's awesome to see, and it's really important that we make sure we have a clear picture of that. And then they go through and they update it as best we can, but this is really the clearest picture that happens. Okay. And this year is the first time that you can complete it online as well as over the phone.
So people don't have to be worried about filling it out and it getting lost in the mail and someone getting that specific personal information.
Right. And again, the questions that they're going to be asking are your name, age, birth date, gender, relations to each other, ethnicity, a couple different things like that. So it's not really, and the only reason they're asking the names is so that they know how many kind of people and they can kind of identify who
and
folks
to make
are.
sure you've done your job.
Right. Yep. And it's based off of household. So if you are living there with a couple friends and it's one single address, one person needs to complete it for that address and include everybody on there.
Okay. And so, that's a really good point because we have family members that are displaced right now. So if they're living in the home with you, then they're counted within that physical address.
Yep, if they are living there. If they do not have a separate address that they are currently paying bills at, then they need to be counted at your house.
Okay. And so for communities such as ourselves, we have multiple higher educational learning centers in Hancock County. So is there a requirement that our students participate in the census since they have a physical mailing address here in addition to maybe they live in Alaska? Is there jurisdiction on that? Is there directives on that? What does that look like for college towns?
Yes, definitely. So this year is actually the first year that they are also requiring college students to be counted in the communities where they are attending school because
they're there 9 months.
Right, that's where they're spending most of their time. They're using the roads, they're doing those different things, so it's appropriate that the resources related to them go to that community. So yes, students do need to complete it, and we're going to be working with the University of Findlay to communicate to students how they need to do that if they're on campus versus off campus. If you are renting a house,
that's a physical address.
That is a physical address. You need to be completing it, and on the census it will ask, do you own, do you rent? Yeah, those different questions. So everyone in our community on March 31st or needs to complete it based off of that information. And we know that students aren't on campus right now because of COVID, but we're going to be working to say, you know what, you were going to be here, so this is how it has to be reported.
Well, and many of them still have their leases. They still have,
Yeah.
because they're returning. This is a short-term
Yeah.
stay away.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that makes total sense. But it's good to know because
Yeah.
it's something new.
Right.
So just as our communities evolve, sometimes the census must evolve to meet and collect the data that's required for funding.
Definitely. Yep. We need to have that clear picture of what our community looks like now. And, I'm a nerd, so I love looking back at what the communities looked like in the past. And that data is all from the census.
And you're a historian.
I am. There we go. That's a better way to put it than a nerd, but I am also that. So.
Okay, so if people are watching this and they're students and they just got home to China, but this is home and they're coming back, where do they need to go to get this information?
Yeah, so
is there a website?
Yes. So 2020census.gov is where you can get a lot of information, questions, fact sheets. And then there's also a button right on there where you can complete it. Or you can go to my2020census.gov, and that's where you can just fill out the questionnaire.
Wonderful. And so you had mentioned March 31st. Was that the kickoff to the campaign, or is that when everything has to be done? Because there's a little confusion out there with
Right.
that, because materials are still being delivered to mailboxes. They are not coming first class mail, they're metered, so they're
Right.
not all getting out at the exact same time. So how does that work? What's the deadline, the cutoff to get your information in before they come looking for you?
Yeah, so the cutoff is going to be like July before they're
Okay.
going to come and start knocking on your door saying, hey, what's going on?
Right.
But really the snapshot census day is April 1st. So
Okay.
it's supposed to be like, hey, what did things look like on the evening of March 31st in our country?
So do it now and get it done so it can be counted for
Yes.
by April 1st.
Yep, and then that way somebody's not giving you a call or showing up on your door trying to get you to
That's
complete
kind
it.
of scary, because then you don't know
Right.
if it's a legitimate person or if it might be someone that's appearing to be legitimate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's so many ways to keep it safe this year, so you're not sorry.
Right, yeah. So definitely doing it online is the safest method. And then after that, if somebody comes to your door, you should be asking them, they should have a photo ID that says U.S. Census Bureau with the seal on there. And they are not going to ask you any personal information about social security
Right.
number, bank information, nothing like that. It is going to be
How you vote.
Right. No, that is not part of the Census Bureau.
Uh-huh.
So certainly, going online, you can actually see an example questionnaire, so you know what they're going to be asking, and then hopefully just complete it right there. Mine only took me 5 minutes. I did it. It's done.
Good.
It's very easy.
And so let's segue back to how our community is supporting our community. I know that some people don't have access to internet right now, and the public library has left their internet on, their Wi-Fi on. So if people do need access, they can go over to the library, park outside of the library, stay in their car, and still be able to access and still do this safely from one of their devices.
Yes. Yep.
And-
And you can also do it by phone. So if you really cannot get access, we can help you out. You can stop by the mayor's office and we can help get that information to you. Or, if you're able to look it up and find it but don't have the ability to complete it online, that's perfectly fine. Obviously, it has been complicated with COVID because the library had computers set up just for
Right,
this.
Census,
and
yeah.
and 50 North had some computers set up to be able to help folks with it. So we're adjusting, but we'll work through it. And if everybody can do their part, we'll get it done.
As Findlay and as Ohioans, Buckeyes do. We
Yep.
get it done.
Yep.
So thank you so much for being a guest here today and for answering our questions.
My
and
pleasure.
hopefully we've provided information that helps calm some of the nerves of everything, because we've got taxes smushed in here too.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on, unemployment. But from what we're hearing from you, we're doing things the right way for our community. And it's uncomfortable now, but we're staying healthy now and for our future.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you for everything you're doing. And I know that there are nights that everyone else is sleeping, that our leaders are online, they're on phone calls, they're doing their research, they're continuing to look at how things will be taken care of, both at the city level and the county level. So we thank our elected officials and our leaders. And we look forward to being able to get through this time and being able to celebrate.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
All of the wonderful things that are Hancock County and the city of Findlay. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you the next time on the University of Findlay Art and Culture Show. Until then, be well.